To both coaches, they are both desperately keen on getting the win. Jake has rested this team for the last 2 weeks, as we all know. It is they're jumping out of their skins. He says they cannot wait to play a game of rugby, and the Stormers, I know, want to continue their winning efforts against the Bulls. 3 out of 3 from last year. So this is going to be a cracker. Physical, but also very skillful, I think. Bulls have got a magnificent back three, and I think their front row will have their work cut out to hold out against the Springbok front row from the Stormers.
Some running players like Hachiba Daimani briefly on your screen. The man in the middle today, AJ Jacobs with the whistle. Marius Jonker in the TMO box, whose son started for the Lions. Up it goes from Johan Goosen, and we are underway. Damian Willemse under that ball, secures. The intensity of the Bulls on full display from the kickoff, and Paul de Vet wisely taking his time to take some of the energy out of these pink jerseys, seeking touch and finding it.
Interesting to seek touch and get it on the 10-meter line. The problem with the Bulls is that they have a tremendous line out, and they can vary it from driving mauls to peel-offs around the front or back. So I would have thought the less the Bulls have line-outs, the better it is for the Stormers.
Grobelaar feeds. Great contest at the front, but tremendous hands. Secure possession for the Bulls. Ruck contest is ferocious from the Stormers. Papier away to Smith. Mornay Smith sets the ruck. Looks like Papier is going to send one over the top. Nortje on the chase along with Kane Moody. Angelo Davids.
That's a brilliant take by Angelo Davids. A little bit of, pushing and shoving going on here, which is completely understandable. When you're receiving a high ball like that, you don't want to be taken out in the air. I'm sure that the referee will handle it. But interesting that the Bulls decided to go for a box kick on the 10-meter line on attack, as opposed to play it through the hands. Clearly, they're going to try and put pressure on the back three, and I think Damian Willemse at fullback is going to be a key player this evening. He really is secure under the high ball.
So I'm glad that's out of the system. It took us 1 minute and 27 seconds. We all knew it was bound to happen. Get the message over. The next guy that starts it, I'm going to deal with him. There was a penalty against you. I don't want guys running in afterwards. Get the message over. You've got the penalty. No. Get the message over, boys. Next one that starts it, we're going to deal with him.
Well, Captain Nortje perhaps a little bit lucky to get away with that challenge in the air on Angelo Davids. No cards, no harm, no foul. It's a derby after all.
I think it's a good decision by the ref. Interestingly enough, you'll see him spray a spot there. It's what the referees are going to do at the moment, is just give a spot for the players. So they have to kick, mistouch.
Goosen in possession. They'll run it from here with Ulrich Low. Tremendous force in South African rugby on the rise. Low, and here is Nortje. Penalty to the Stormers.
Yeah, interesting. I'm just having a look at that again, but was side entry, I think, at the ruck. Good leg tackle. This is so important for the Stormers. They've got Deon Fourie, who's an outstanding fetcher, as is Namakaba, and I think interesting that the Bulls didn't attack from the 10-yard line on attack, and yet from a mistouch they have a go, and then immediately they turn it into a penalty for the opposition. Good leg tackle by Deon Fourie, and then the clean in from the side by number 4. So clear decision by the referee, and an opportunity now for Mani Lubbock to get the Stormers on the board.
Highly experienced coaching staff of the Bulls, led by Jake White. And here is Mani Lubbock, who kicked the Stormers to glory just last season in the semi-final and the final, and throughout the season, of course. Right here, he has the chance for the first points of this North-South derby. grand from the number 10 for the DHL Stormers, Mani Lebok.
That's a nice start for the Stormers on defence in particular. They didn't win the penalty. It was rather given to them by the Bulls coming in from the side. But poor missed kick for touch. You want to get your touch there from a penalty.
Wilson sends it high. Once again, under the high ball, it is Damian Willemse. De Wet. Lebok. This one is for Davids to chase. Kurtley Arendse underneath the high ball. Spectacular in the air from both 15s. Forster, a force to be reckoned with in the 12, drives beyond the gain line. The Bulls putting together the phases now for the first time. Papier, slow ball for Goosen. Mapu to Arendse. Almost through the gap, Kurtley Arendse. Dragged down by Dan du Plessis. Papier. Smith. Goosen, flat ball that to Steenkamp. Papier. Goosen to Forster. Staying on the halfway line as the Stormers' defensive line remains aggressive. Marvin Ori putting in the hit. The cross kick from Goosen is well measured in the end to Cornel Hendricks. Couldn't get back to his feet and continue the movement. Papier to Mapu. It was Kurtley Arendse, in fact, who took it in. Here is Papier. Goosen. Phase after phase for the Bulls now, but barely approaching the 10-meter line of the Stormers. Over the top in the end from Goosen. It is speculative.
Really interesting phases of play there from the Bulls, using pods off 9 and then getting the player, the forward playing it to 10 out of the back and then getting it into the wide channels. There was even a little cross kick there. Good phases, just getting into their work, the Bulls, but unfortunately undone by a kick directly into touch there by Goosen. He was playing nicely. Maybe he needs to get closer to the gain line before he makes the pass, because it's easy for the defense to read it. The earlier he passes, the easier it is for the defense to shift.
Dweba. Marvin Ori drags it in off the fingertips. In the midst of a luck crisis at the Stormers right now, Dweba tucks into the back of this rolling maul. It's got a long tail, but not a lot of drive left in it, it would seem.
That's Blue going down.
No penalty advantage waiting for the Stormers. Lebok saw somebody in his passing lane and held it up, almost intercepted and run away with by Kurtley Arendse. Well, got interesting on the floor. Kyle Brink. Papier tried to send that one over the top. Lebok getting back in position. Able to field and send one high for Willemse. Taking on Kurtley Arendse.
Yeah, that was a really interesting bit of play there by the Stormers after the maul. They decided to take it through the hands and go wide, but a very speculative pass from Mani Lebok, and that could have been intercepted by Arendse and been very, very dangerous with his pace. On the driving maul, it looked as though a couple of Bulls players had swung around, but the referee deemed that they were still part of the ruck and part of the maul rather, and were in position from the start, so weren't penalised. Bulls getting into their work though. I think they're the ones who are looking a little bit more confident with the ball in hand at this point.
And now comes the scrum battle. The 3 Springboks up front for the Stormers. And plenty of power behind the front row for the Bulls.
Very important test for Swanepoel and Morne Smith. We know how good this front row is. The question is whether they'll go for a double shove and then play off the penalty advantage, or whether they want a quick ball. We know that Dweb is a very good scrummaging hooker. I think this Bulls front row is underrated though. I think even in the final last year they were penalised a few times, but I felt that they really did stand up well against what is a formidable front row and probably arguably one of the best front rows in the world.
Coach. One. Sit. Ball is at the back.
No upper hand for either side, but Daimani breaks from the back.
Okay, no problem.
Penalty to the Stormers in a kickable position.
Yeah, there's the real advantage of having a number 8 with a great turn of pace. That scrum was very stable. I thought the Bulls did well to stop the second shove, but Daimani, as does Rus, gets off the back of the scrum incredibly quickly, and he gets into the back line, and then a Bulls player not rolling away from the tackle, stopping the cleaners from winning quick ball. A straightforward penalty for the Stormers.
Good.
There's an issue here at this field sometimes that it can get a little bit, it can tear up a little bit, so your dominance in the front row and your scrum dominance gets negated a little bit with feet slipping, and there I saw that they'd packed in quite high to try and avoid the pancake, the feet going out at the back and both front rows flopping down.
Mani the book.
That does him a lot of good. There's no question that a number 10 who kicks for goal gets 2 bang in front and slots them straight through the middle. It's very, very good psychologically. You just know that you can get all sorts of demons into your head if you start missing those ones.
Time off. Time back on.
Goosen to get us back underway. 6 points to 0, the Stormers lead. Duplessis takes this time.
Inside.
Once again, De Vet controlling the pace.
Ball is available.
Has to have been a frustrating opening 11 minutes for the visiting Vodacom Bulls. As De Vet sends one for Zas to chase. Here's Kurt the Ardenser snapping up on the loose ball. Lionel Mapu. The Bulls on attack. Papier. Strong run from Vermaak. Papier digs in, gets it to Goosen off to Steenkamp. Papier. Goosen. Pancaked by Malherbe in the midfield. Captain Norkeer carries it on for the Bulls.
Knock on there on the floor.
Just a knock-on advantage. Bang. Ruan Vermaak gets put to deck.
Good contest. Knock on you on the floor. Going back.
It is a good contest, isn't it, Nick?
Sorry.
It certainly is, and it looks like any little turnover or any error, whichever team gets the ball manages to put the other team under pressure. And we saw there a good take, gets hit really hard, relieve the ball. But I was interested in the Paul de Vet's kick. It was it wasn't high enough or deep enough really for the chase, and you just have to be so sure that you're going to contest that box kick, because Kurtley Arendse, we've seen at international level, make people look very, very stupid if he has half a yard, and you just don't want to give him a free run with the ball in hand. So I know it was a contestable kick, but there you had a bit of a head clash, player going down, ball in hand.
I think you're right. There's Year's been tackled. There's a bit of a dip.
And a slight dynamic change. Do we say that there's a dynamic change of 14?
I think those are one of those very unfortunate ones.
So we're talking mitigation there.
He goes into the tackle, but because the
player
is
so we're
going
talking
down
direct
under the
contact to the
tackle
head, and then we've got the mitigation because there's a dynamic change.
I think there might be mitigating circumstances there, but for any head-on-head clash, one has to understand that World Rugby is absolutely
what's the last one, your best angle?
Adamant that it has to be looked at, and it starts off.
This is the best angle, so
it starts off with a red, and you have to find mitigating circumstances to bring it down.
Can we see it on full speed, Marius?
In the old days, Paul, it was a simple clash of heads.
So we're talking,
you play on, good hit by the Bulls player.
Head-on-head contact.
But unfortunately, with the number of
Marius,
concussions we're having out there,
we do have foul play because
the referees have to be incredibly careful with these issues.
Direct contact. But however, there is a mitigation for us due to the dynamic of the tackle before it. So that's the mitigation for us from a red card to a yellow card. Do you agree with that, Fax?
I agree. It's number 6.
Number 6. Okay.
Yellow card for Martu van Staden on the way.
So, 6. We do have, you can listen, we do have head-on-head contact, but there is a slight dynamic change because of the tackle before that. So that's the mitigation, so it's going to be a yellow card.
The man they call Eskom is off to the sin bin for 10 minutes.
My sound is dead.
Mitigating factors indeed, but
that sound
as you said, Matt.
Yeah, unfortunately all the players know it now. As soon as there is a head-on-head clash, you just hope that that first of all there isn't a serious injury, and secondly you hope for the contest that the referee can find a mitigating circumstance so we can keep 15 against 15 on the field. Obviously after the yellow card when the player gets back.
Pine Pienaar, front and center in the screen. He's been in the coaching setup of the Bulls for some time now, along with the likes of Nellis Marais, and of course Jake White leading them now. Here is Dweba.
Okay, so I made a clear mark for you. I'm not going to warn you again. There's your mark. Let's stay there. They on their mark. Come back on.
Marvin Ori, primary target. This time it's Daimani, Paul de Vet to Libak, Willemse into the back line. De Vet to Libak, what a line from Suleiman Hartzenberg.
Camping on the body, not on the ball.
Ori at first receiver, Libak to Willemse, there are numbers on the outside. Dion Faries running at them, it's up to Daimani. Daimani chopped down at the knees, reaching for the line. No try.
He rolled in the tackle. A wonderful piece of attack by the Stormers, but unfortunately just a metre short. It was just too tempting for Daimani. He thought he could reach it with a little roll, and wonderful play. Man outside him, perhaps ball in 2 hands there was a little bit better, and just let's play Leon Zas. That's very frustrating, but he's on the ground, and it's the tackle has been made. You can't then roll forward and propel yourself over into the in-goal area. But there's a man outside him. I think that is the most unfortunate thing, and Hachiva is a very unselfish player, so it's unusual to see him do that. He's someone who likes putting other people in for tries, and obviously he thought he had the pace to get over. Big missed opportunity there.
Maybe it's the biggest crowd he's heard since the final.
I think so. It's fantastic to see all these people coming in. It really is, Paul, to have a full stadium like this for a URC game 2 days before Christmas. Absolutely fabulous.
Okay, it's your mark. So now the warning is for
you notice what the referee is doing is he paints a line in the middle, and the players have to stay on either side of that mark, and he's very, very clear about it now.
What's the issue?
He also puts a mark down where the hooker has to throw the ball in, like soccer.
Grobelaar feeds, Rowan Norkier, captain of the Bulls, receives just outside their own 22-meter line, trailing by 6 points to 0, in spite of their superior possession in periods of play where they've looked fluid. Falling apart, this rolling maul, and now he's highly compromised at the back as Grobelaar.
Yeah, that was very well structured, and this is the one issue that when you play the Bulls, they really do persist, and they're very, very good at getting exits and scoring tries from these driving mauls. Good low body position, heads down. Couldn't see any head out of that driving maul. Backs parallel, and good driving with the legs, and good organisation from the number 9.
Okay, time off. Send this sound guy on, please. Time off. Time off. Head injury. And we're taking water as well. Water.
So as we have a break in play, Nick, what about this crowd? I mean, it is tremendous. 23rd of December, and there's a game on the 31st here as well, of course, to have so many people in here.
I just think I've just got a tremendous amount of affection and appreciation of the Western Cape crowds. It's quite extraordinary how they love their rugby, and I think the way that the Stormers have played over the last year, you know, they're getting real rewards for that. They're a team for the people. They've done some wonderful things after winning it. After winning the championship, they were travelling around and. You know, we're in amongst the crowd after the final, and I think Hachiba Daimani stayed in his Stormers jersey for a week after the game. I mean, just absolutely wonderful, and you know, sending out really good posts, positive posts, thanking the people for the support they have. So this is what you really want. We are playing in the middle of our summer, but people know that they're going to have a good, you know, great atmosphere here. It's a wonderful family-friendly ground, and it's easy to get to, easy to get out of. You've got magnificent restaurants around here. A lot of people are down in Cape Town anyway. On you know, they come down on holiday, so why not? You know, this is just a brilliant spectacle tonight. I'm flabbergasted. You know, we saw in the European Cup some disappointing crowds, and this is really just shows how important derbies are to the South African public.
Blue.
And maybe just the local fans getting used to the new schedule as well.
Yes, there's that as well. You know, rugby hasn't stopped the whole year. We've played all year round, and it's you know, a lot of people feel there's too much rugby, but this is a Class A game. This is a fantastic game to watch and to support.
Class A indeed. The North-South derby, Stormers against the Bulls, and the Stormers have taken the lead early on. Just 15 minutes into the first half, the Bulls can't get it going at more time again, and a penalty comes the way of the home side, and this well-rested Bull teams just cannot get the better of their travelling Stormers opposition.
Yeah, it's good steal, that really good steal. This is one thing that the Stormers are relentless. They leg tackle, and they have some very good fetchers in their team. Kitsoff himself is a very good fetcher, but even their wingers, Dweber's outstanding. Dion Fourie is probably the best in South Africa, if not close to being the best in the world at what he does. So, you know, age is not a problem if you're brave and courageous and you back yourself and you've got a good body position. I mean, that's outstanding. A great steal, and a penalty is gold for your team under those situations.
Those numbers heavily weighted in favour of the Bulls. Territory in possession, nothing to show for it yet. And over the top, finding Daimani. Dweber on the money once more. Here is Damien for them, sir. Dweber met in defence. Johan Grobbelaar be happy with that. Lebok turns to the boot, the grubber through, out into touch.
Very sensible. That was going nowhere. In a slow ball, when you're getting slow ball like that, you're just sending your forwards in for an attritional tackle by the opposition. So, you know, put a ball in the back, get them into back close to their 22, perhaps have an opportunity to sneak a line out. Very hard to do that against the Bulls, but perhaps. And you know, their guy could throw it in skew. You never know. There's an opportunity here.
Johan Grobbelaar to feed the line out. Contest from Ari, but brilliantly taken at the back by Elrich Low, and the penalty advantage is waiting for the Bulls after the collapse. Surely an advantage they'd be happy to take, as Goosen tries for the over-ambitious, knowing that penalty was in the bag.
Yeah, a really good throw by the hooker over the 15. And, you know, as soon as you get a competing block at the back of the line-out, it allows them an immediate acceleration on their maul, and they get away. And then if you collapse it after it's been set up, you know, you're going to give away a penalty. So
ball carrier in each play of each team.
Disappointing that Daimani, for the Stormers, disappointing that Daimani wasn't able to get up high enough to beat that. But it was a brave throw over the 15 and very accurate by Grobbelaar.
As the Bulls advance into opposition territory, still awaiting the return of Marco van Staden from the sin bin.
Difference between the tackle and a sack.
Prepare for another line-out.
I've got a nasty feeling that that little 2-on-1 at the end that Daimani ignored might be a talking point at half-time.
A Free kick awarded by referee Jacobs after multiple warnings on keeping the gap.
Exactly. A referee can only say so many times, there's the middle of the line, not stay on your side. And teams continue to creep in order to contest more successfully. So there goes the line. You see it again. That's where they've got to stand, and it can turn into a direct penalty if they continue to encroach.
Grobelaar feeds, well taken by Vermaak. Grobelaar feeds Ambrose Papier on the back line. Tremendous pressure on Goosen. The Bulls have done tremendously well to retain possession there. Penalty advantage as well. Kane and Moody, just 20 years old, looking physically dominant out there on the DHL Stadium pitch.
Okay, tackle, release!
Really struggling to find a way through this defensive line of the Stormers, or the Vodacom Bulls.
Good attempt. No, leave each other. Stay. Good attempt. No advantage. High tackle.
Yeah,
15, high tackle.
I think he's widely respected all over South Africa, Dion Fourie, and there he's not someone who wants to fight. He's someone who wants to win the ball. And there he goes in. It was a good attempt, but I think they said that there was a high tackle there on Goosen, perhaps by Damian Willemse, and it's quite extraordinary the physicality that Damian Willemse has brought to his game. He's not only is one of the outstanding ball carriers in the Stormers side. We've seen him already go through in the centre. He had that beautiful break, and but also he is probably one of the best defensive players in South Africa at the moment. He is absolutely brilliant in offensive tackles. He's scared of no one. Has got great pace and great anticipation. And is an incredibly valuable player. I'm not sure why he's...
Can't hold it up.
Dan du Plessis went off for a head injury.
Goosen looking confident. Success and the first points for the Bulls on the board. 6 points to 3.
Bulls have handled that yellow card really well. 3-0 to them. Avoided a try. Still well in the game here. Getting Marco van Staden back on the field in no time at all.
So Clayton Blommachees leaves the field. Dan du Plessis is back, and Libbok sends it central to get the game back underway. The Bulls cannot secure. Dweba has hands on the ball for the Stormers. De Vet away to Willemse. Taking on Ulrich low on the outside shoulder. Hartzenberg puts one through the middle, and Suleiman Hartzenberg puts Ambrose Papier on his back.
Ball is available.
And the Bulls still in possession in their own 22-meter line. Tremendous offensive pressure from the Stormers.
Really good play, lovely little grabber and a great follow-up tackle by Hartzenberg. And obviously the Bulls have to play, slow play with their forwards to get an exit. Put that up and under, it's too deep. And here's a back for a contestable. Unsurprisingly, it's run again by Willemse. He's quite extraordinary.
Absolutely tremendous hands from Damian Willemse. Is he the new darling, not of Newlands, but of the DHL Stadium?
Well, I would say he'd be a new darling of the Springboks as well, because he'd be one guy I think it'd be very hard to leave out of a team. He was outstanding on the tour, playing at 10, which is probably his third best position. He's an outstanding inside centre, and he's an absolutely brilliant fullback. So this guy is just a very, very good rugby player.
And here come the Stormers. They want to satisfy the fans with a try now. 2 penalties already in the bag. Dweba to feed. Marvin Ori calling the line out.
Over the 15.
Ori is the dummy target. Daimani is headed the back, and now the Stormers come rumbling around. They cannot keep their feet.
Time off, time off, time off, time off, time off. Thank you. Time off. Time off. Yeah. Yep. Got it. Number 8. Yeah. Let's move. Give me time. I'll explain it to you. Okay. Captain, number 8. We've got a maul clearly moving forward with high speed. Number 8 then collapses it. football tie would have been scored, so that's going to be a yellow card and a penalty try against you.
I think it's a very, very good decision by the referee, not because, because I live in Cape Town, but because there was no question that the Stormers were on the front foot, that had he not collapsed that scrum, that driving maul, there was no question that the Stormers would go over and score a try. And so, that was, again, a very brave call. Over the 15, great throw by Dweber, and you've got to compliment him on how he's improved since he's come to the Stormers. Great take, and look at that momentum. And I mean, they were either going to concede a try or collapse the maul, and that was a very good decision by the referee, in my opinion. So Stormers have capitalised, even though it took them a bit of time, and Eskom was back on the field when it happened.
It's fun there.
Daimani continues to get treatment on the other side of the field, holding up the restart to this match.
We're going that way.
This Vodacom Bulls side, having rested for about 3 weeks, 2 weekends off during the European Championship, and that changed side for the Bulls playing, find themselves trailing by 13 points to 3, having had 2 yellow cards already in the first half. Johan Goosen goes very, very deep this time. Lebok takes and returns fire.
That's ironically a little win for the Bulls, line out to them on the 10-yard line where they started the game. Be interesting to see if they take it through the hands from here, or whether they decide to re-pepper the back three of the Stormers.
Okay, we'll do on the next one. Let's on the line. We'll do the next one.
The Bulls in consultation, managing the clock now once again, of course. Being 14 against 15, and Grobbelaar prepares to feed. Well, that's not straight, surely. On the outside shoulder of Rohan Vermaak. On we go. Forster is met by Deon Fourie. Papier. Nortje into contact. Ambrose Papier. Papier sent it blind. Stopped in his tracks was Curtly Arendse. Mornay Smith, the most effective carry from a Bulls player all day, perhaps. And here is Papier inside to Goosen. Nizam Kar chopped down. Papier does well not to knock that ball on. Mapu tried for the switch. It wasn't on. Papier showing good hands again. Kar commits defenders. The Bulls.
No more, not on the ball. On the body.
Enough in position to clear that ruck. Daimani on the tackle, Deon Fourie on the hunt.
Double goal, advantage.
Penalty advantage against
on
him.
The body first, second one on the ball.
Away to Goosen. Papier off to Arendse.
Second advantage, high tackle.
Employing the shoulder. Great ball there, cutting room wide open is Harold Forster. Forster into the opposition 22. Can the Bulls capitalize on this momentum? Papier clears over the top from Johan Goosen. Numbers on the outside. Nizam Kar rolling over the line. The former province boy is in.
What an outstanding try by the Bulls. They were playing on a double penalty advantage. I think there was one offsides and also one by Steeler, who didn't release the ball in time. But a good variety. Once they got those penalty advantages, there was a lovely little run round. That was a super little kick across field. Nizam Kar early in the move, just a lovely little offload as well, which you see those good hands just helps take the pressure off the first receiver and just pop it onto a second or a third receiver. That's it's an excellent try, no more than they've deserved. I thought that the Stormers' defence was holding out really well until Forster came on that magnificent unders line. I mean, it just took everyone by surprise. Once he got that break on the front foot like that, the Stormers really battled to reset on defence, and a well-deserved try by the Bulls.
13 caps Springbok Johan Goosen with the chance to add the extras for the 14-man Bulls. Damian Willemse is leaving the field at the moment.
Bloodbin.
Class from Johan Goosen. 13 points to 10.
Nizam, well done. Great delayed. He waited for that ball to bounce, gave it a chance to see which way it was going to go. The dreadful rugby ball can go in any one of 4 directions when you're coming. He just held himself back and then accelerated in after the bounce. But beautifully spotted by Goosen. Nice and calm with the ball in hand, Goosen. I've been asking for him to play a bit flatter, but in a situation like that, you know, he scanned so well and saw where the overlap was. And with the defense of the Stormers, which is a press defense and it tends to leave space on the outside, you know, he took the right option there, and it was a very accurate kick.
Just a quick question, Nick. Do you lend any extra credence to the approach of John Dobson or Jake White insofar as their approach to European rugby this year and the teams that the Stormers sent overseas and the team that the Bulls sent overseas?
It's a very good discussion point. I understand both of their points. I think Jake White feels that it's very difficult to win 2 competitions, you know, go try and win the European Cup and to win the URC, and he's set his mind on doing the best he possibly can and maybe win the URC this year. Dobson, on the other hand, John feels that we need to give the full respect to the URC that you possibly can and put your best team out there. So both have got good points. We'll see how this game develops to see tactically whether, you know, Jake's move of resting this team for 3 weeks is going to work.
Into the 28th minute in the first half, the Bulls arguably growing into this match. The Stormers come out with aggression on attack and defense. Blomachi's underneath the high ball.
Good timing.
On for Willemse. Kits off, straightening the line, the big front ranker. Paul de Vet away to Libok. Here is Clayton Blomachi's. Plenty of experience in URC rugby, having played for the Scarlets. Libok hits Hartzenberg on the angle, couldn't hold on to the ball. Mornay Smith for the Bulls.
Keep working.
Goosen wasn't expecting that. Off to Mapu. Or rather, Courtney Arendse.
That's the second one. There's no advantage. Let's go back. Knock on.
Yeah. Yeah, it was back and forth, but it looked like Goosen was very surprised to receive that ball from Ambrose Papier. Again, an offload, a little bit in the tackle there by, was it Mani Libok, or was it Hartzenberg, I think, who lost the ball in possession. But, you know, good start by Blommetjies. You know, I think he has got problems under the high ball, and he took the first one really well. And then he had a full go at the Bulls' defense when he got his hands on the ball the first time. It's important for him. He's a player who has got great ability on attack, great feet, and a good feel for the game. But when you talk about key positions, a fullback is a position where you want your fullback to make as least mistakes as possible. You want to make sure that he catches his up and unders, that he presses hard on the outside if that's his job as to take the second last man or the last man as fullback, that he talks a lot, as Willie Leroux does in the Springbok setup, to give his wings confidence. And it's not about the sidestepping counterattacks, it's about doing all the hard things well, all the tough things. Make your tackles, catch the up and unders, you know, make sure your wings know where you are and that you're there to support them. And I think he's coming from the Free State and from overseas. He has got a lot of experience, but I think perhaps he sometimes thinks it's more important to do the razzle-dazzle than not the hard work.
We all need that razzle-dazzle, Nick. It's the first season after all.
It does. It brings people into the stadiums as well.
Ambrose Papier clears from the base. Over the top it goes from Johan Goosen.
Well done, Blommetjies. Well done, my boy.
In possession now, looking for options. Brought down by the diminutive 15 of the Bulls, Courtney Arendse. 76 kilograms worth of him at 1.7 meters, the number 15 who plays for the Springboks. De Vet spotting a gap over the top. Courtney Arendse slowly getting back in position. Davids on the chase. Looks like Arendse might be compromised just slightly. A half limp back into position there. Papier with the Bulls back in possession, but quite familiarly just outside their own 22-meter line. Lionel Mapu. Brought down by Dixon. Attacking from deep, the Bulls, time after time for Mark. Dropping shoulder there.
Ball is available.
Or rather, Kyle Brink on the carry. A welcome return to the Bulls squad on a regular basis, Kyle Brink. Underneath this, Mani Libok. Libok starting the running attack. from that point, and Leolin Zas in support. Zas has a couple beaten. Zas to ground, and now De Wet. Great ball placement from Paul De Wet to keep the Stormers' attacking hopes alive. Here's Ari. Pass not great. Kane and Moody almost capitalizing.
No more!
Out the back by Johan Grobbelaar.
Bonnie-Choma!
Still looking to run this thing from deep are the Bulls. Cornel Hendricks sees that one slide off the side of the boot, bouncing towards the touchline.
Gee, you're getting full value for money watching this game. It's fantastic. I think that counter-attack, Mani Lubbock's timing to Leolin Zas was absolutely perfect. Wonderful run up the wing, held onto the ball, and then just an inaccurate pass, unfortunately, by Marvin Ori. You were talking about Curtly Arons earlier on, and you say he's 75 kilos. I want to tell you that 60 kilos of that is his heart. He is one of the bravest rugby players I've seen. He's just absolutely sensational for his size, his explosiveness. Just doesn't shirk again. You know, any high ball, you know, any confrontation, he'll take it, you know, head on. Just a very, very gutsy rugby player.
It's not like he learned that guts in the fire. He spent years playing for the Blitzboks. It's been a meteoric rise for the 26-year-old.
Yeah, I think that's probably where he learned about how physical he could be. I think it's a wonderful breeding ground for 15s players. You get in-contact skills, your ability to tackle, your ability to poach on the ground. There's so much space on the field. Your timing of when to pass, when to tackle, your support running lines. You know, the Blitzbokke were a very physical team. You know, they wouldn't just offload out of a tackle. They'd often just play it on the ground. There'd be one cleaner, and they'd get someone coming in to play scrum off all the time to retain possession. And people like Curtly and Kane and Moody, these guys, they all benefit from playing sevens.
I remember Cecil Africa cleaning some rucks.
Yes, exactly. You know, you're playing against Fiji, and the guys are up there at 90 to 110 kilos. He's 75. You've got to be brave to do that. So I don't think he's too concerned about 15-man rugby.
Dweba to Daimani, down to De Wet, away to Duplessis, now to Willemse back on the field. Beats the first tackle, wrapped up in the second. Angelo Davids beats a couple and heads back in field. The Bulls were waiting for him there. And Paul De Wet sends one over the top, keeping the momentum going forward for the Stormers. Great chase here from Willemse as well as Duplessis. Time for Cornel Hendricks to clear in the end.
Keep moving, Bulls!
Davids underneath this. It'll go into touch safely. And he won't play quickly.
Wow, this match has got everything, hasn't it? You know, you've got some great play there, just keeping the ball in field. Angelo Davis just took the defensive line on to his cost. It wasn't as though a Bulls player is too concerned, especially number 7 like that. I mean, just a great tackle, but he bounces up and he's going to do it again. The Bulls then counter-attack, long kick, halfway line. You know, we can draw breath. Great first half so far.
On the halfway line, this is Dweba taking his time. Daimani at the back again. Pop down to Dion Fourie. Didn't quite work out perfectly, that pop down, and the Stormers driven back as a result. Engelbrecht. Bulls in over the ball. Hunting for that turnover, and it's good.
Great turnover on the ground.
Shutting the lights out, Marco van Staden, Papier, Fields, Klussen, and on the outside now it's Curtly Arons. Arons to Hendricks, Damian Willemse makes a defensive read that shuts it down. Grobbelaar.
Wow, how good was that defense? I mean, that looked like a two-on-one if ever I've seen. How Damian Willemse managed to stay on the pass and then move as he passed to make the tackle on the outside play is absolutely extraordinary. Just brilliant.
Once again, the Bulls, as they enter Stormers territory, come up snake eyes, and Mani Lubbock sends them back downfield.
Just a brilliant steal there. Stayed on his feet, scrabbled it back. Off goes Van Staden, gets tackled. They get away on the blind side. And that's a steal again by Kitsoff. He's in there. Cheapers, they're going to miss him, the Stormers.
Well, much as the Bulls must be missing Marcel Coetzee, of course.
On the line, on the line.
True.
On the line.
But of course, Marcel Coetzee is set to come back late in the season for the Bulls. They have to make sure they're in the right position on the URC log when that time comes. Dweber feeds. This time it's called not straight. There have been a couple dancing on the line of that. Dweber stunned, understandably, after some of the ones he's seen called good. But not straight the call. Scrum to the Bulls.
That's a tough call. I think it was marginally on the Stormers side, but perhaps he's paying for a couple of others that were marginally on the Stormers side, and maybe the touch judge and the referee just decided, we'll just straighten him up a bit. But he has improved his throwing, and I can see the frustration there, because you look at it, it's down the, it's not down the middle, but it's inside the inside shoulder of the Stormers player. Perhaps that should have been left.
To the folks at home who decided not to get a ticket to the Stormers game today, you're bad.
Coach! Ball! Sit!
The spirit of festive rugby is spread from the field to the fans as the Mexican wave does the rounds here in Cape Town. A penalty awaits the Bulls.
Wow, look at that ball. We did speak beforehand of saying that this front row of the Bulls is underestimated, and there have been very few scrums. It's been a very open game, lineouts. There have been a few penalties, few scrums. First, I can't remember, they might have had a couple of scrums, but this is one where they really get it. Look at that. Very, very good movement. The loose head gets inside, stays straight. That is an excellent scrum by the Bulls, and fully deserved of a penalty.
Well, they spent 20 minutes out of the first half with 7 instead of 8 men in the pack. Surely has cost their aggression in that regard.
I tell you, there are 3 people will be very, very upset about that, and that is Kitsoff, Malherbe, and Dweber. I must say that the Stormers are lacking a bit of weight in the lock situation. They've lost 4 locks, and Dixon is normally obviously a number 7 flanker rather than a lock, so lacking probably 10-15 kilograms there in comparison with the Bulls locks.
Great line out from Grobbelaar, and round the corner at tremendous pace comes Rohan Vermaak. Papier feeds Elrich low. The Bulls have the bit between their teeth and a penalty advantage on their side. Once again, Rohan Vermaak sticks his neck into the fray, and bang, they go again. The Bulls are building up a head of steam now. They play it blind. There are no numbers available to them. Arendse is put to ground. Papier fires back in the opposite direction for Kyle Brunk. Stormers defense now looking strong after that flurry from the Bulls. Head down and move forward from Gerard Steenkamp. Papier away to Smith. Bumping shoulders there was Mornay Smith, and Elrich low as another go.
Wow, it's a real period of pressure. Typical Bulls rugby, not going more than 1 pass out, and big forward carriers with latches on them. Brave defense by the Stormers, but always ceding ground. There was an option out wide. The Bulls had left their winger, I think Hendricks, right out on the wing, and I saw that Hurston had spotted that, but the forwards were determined to try and get over and prove a point against the Stormers' defence and the Stormers' pack. Fortunately for the Stormers, they managed to hold up Elric Lowe over the line, but they were playing on a penalty advantage, and this is could be 13 all after this kick, which is probably a fair reflection of the first half.
Well, Jake White had plenty to say about the fact that the Stormers had picked a 6-2 split on the bench compared to the 5-3 split of the Bulls. He seems to be taking pride in the fact that he's building a formidable pack here in the blue.
Yeah, I think too, we have to look at the situation the Stormers have, where they've had injuries.
Over it goes from the reliable boot of Johan Goosen. And it's 13 points apiece as we head towards the halftime break here at DHL Stadium. Heading for the final minute of the half. How does Manie Libbok play this restart? They go deep, the Stormers, after this, with tremendous pace. And the Bulls, having brought the scores level,
Ball is available, use 9.
will look for a safe clearance this time.
No.
Presumably they'll be happy to head into the break with the scores as they are. Unless, of course, they can make hay from this. Well, that is a tremendous mistake from the visiting side. A cheap penalty given up to the home team, and the Stormers have the chance to kick to the corner or for posts. But it appears their captain, Kitsoff, is pointing at the corner. Cornel Hendricks identified as the culprit. Libbok steps up, and we are going to have one last play in this first half. Flag is up from Kwengile Chadezweni on the touchline. A highly experienced Springbok with such a brilliant story in life and in the game. Cornel Hendricks has given away a costly penalty, which has the Stormers fans licking their lips as the hooter sounds. Joseph Tuaba. Huge line out. Ori at the front, well taken, and the Stormers set them all. The Bulls set the wedge, and they're stopping them for the time being, but that momentum is building. The Stormers now, with the crowd behind them, heaving for the line. De Vet sends it away to Dan du Plessis. Dominated in the hit. Another penalty to the DHL Stormers. That's just Derby stuff. Libbok kicking for touch. Cornel Hendricks jumped the gun there with attempting to intercept that ball before it reached the touchline. All's well that ends well, and the Stormers have another 5-meter line on to close out the half. A chance to snatch back the lead. Dweba. Ori, it's been stolen brilliantly by the Bulls, and they close out the half in that fashion. The celebrations warranted, as they've kept this match very much in the balance. The score's level, in fact. It's been a fascinating first half in this North-South derby. Here it is festive rugby in the Vodacom United Rugby Championship, and it has been enthralling through the first 40 minutes. And coming up next are the second. Do not go anywhere, because we will have action at the festive season. It's the northern sides in the URC who have the best mauling stats after all those years of hate.
Yes, they're the ones who... there was a law proposal that you could collapse driving malls, and the Northern Hemisphere were very upset about that. They said, no, that'd be far too dangerous.
How the tables have turned. Elrich Lowe reclaims off the restart from the Stormers, and the second half is underway. Dion Fourie sniffing up a loose ball, capitalizing for the Stormers, who are immediately onto the attack as a result of that. De Vet to Libbok. Engelbrecht in the back line. Good leg drive from Engelbrecht, sets the ruck on the 22. Libbok sends it to Willemse, standing deep, the skip pass, misses out two potential recipients. And Dion Fourie cuts back in field. The oldest man to ever earn a Springbok cap. Inside ball from Ori to Kitsoff, the captain, to ground. De Vet, Libbok, Engelbrecht. Angelo Davids, with plenty to do, does not mind targeting his opposite number for a bounce. Daimani with a chip and chase.
Back.
Mornay Smith, did he knock that on?
Wow, how close was that? Daimani with a little cheeky chip and chase. There's a number 8 with the skills of a winger. He's got the pace. He has played there in the past, and to be able to see the space there is exceptional. Well done on keeping the ball in field, both by by Dion Fourie on the far side, and also Angelo Davids there. Just really maintained the pressure, and attacking scrum like this, great opportunity for the Stormers early on.
Rito Hlungwani, forwards coach of the Stormers, watching on as they set this scrum.
Where's that? Time off?
One of the nicest guy in South African rugby, Rita.
Yes.
It must be a wonderful place to work then, the Stormers, because John Dobson looks like a good man himself.
They do have fun, and I think the players have fun. If you manage to sign a guy like Damien Willemse for 5 years, and you know he's a very happy player, because it's very hard to hold down someone for longer than 1 or 2 these days.
Clear pullback by 8 blue.
Pullback, I thought I saw that there. Daimani.
There we go.
Pulling back Curtly Ardenso made that very clear.
Thanks,
penalty to the Bulls.
Yeah, well spotted, Paul. I missed that.
Establish what you're trying to say.
Nick, you can call me the expert.
But you are.
Out into touch by the Bulls, moving play up beyond the halfway line. Now that momentum the Bulls carried into the second half, do you think they can capitalize on it?
You know, rugby's a really strange game. You have momentum periods, and you've got to score points in those momentum periods, and that was a period of momentum for the Stormers. But just having pulled that player back, they've released the momentum. Now the Bulls have attacking line out in the Stormers half and have an opportunity to attack.
Goosen to Moody, can't hold on. The Stormers have a chance to attack this ruck. They come up with nothing. Papier can clear. Smith. Stuck on their own 10-meter line once again. A tale told too many times in the first half. Wonderful hand from Hendricks to Mapu around the corner. Ardense tripping as he received.
That's a high tackle. That's a high tackle.
That may have been a high tackle, but it's very unusual to see someone drop the ball.
No knock-on.
Yeah, the ref says no knock-on. But Kana Moody received a pass, which went through his hands and was deemed not forward. It's unusual that a referee doesn't see a ball drop there as not being a forward.
Harsh on Willie Engelbrecht, that.
General warning. It's the distance out of each other. Exactly. So it's once off. It's not repeated.
Goosen looking for the banana kick. Not much distance on that, but the Bulls are on the attack with the ball in hand.
You've always got to wonder why you wouldn't get someone with the left foot in the back line to start practicing kicking left-footed down the right-hand side of the touchline so you can hook it in. You know, to try and do banana kicks like that, which give you 5 meters, is a real waste of time.
In it comes from Grobelaar. Unclean, but taken by Dweba in the end. So a turnover of possession just as the Bulls got onto the front foot.
Great steal by Daimani there at the back of the line. Just got a fingertip to it to push it over.
Tremendous game from the number 8 for the Stormers. Of course, filling into the 8 jersey for Evan Roos. Not just the superstar of the Stormers franchise, but of the URC. Another hard run by Ruan Vermaak, who has been willing and able today for the side in pink. Really behind the gain line there, Grobelaar, and highly isolated.
The ref should be calling a stoppage there. Curtly Ardense ran into Kitshoff, and there's a massive difference in kilograms there, and came off second best, unfortunately.
He's had a massive game today, Curtly Ardense.
That's what I was talking about in the first half. Just has no fear. Why would you do that? I mean, he's got great feet, as he proved when he went round Marcus Smith in the Test match against England. So surely a little bit of dazzling feet there, as opposed to try and bounce kids off. He's got a very low centre of gravity, and probably is very relieved that Curtly Ardense ran straight at him instead of round him.
Curtly Ardense, Angelo Davids as well. A diminutive number 14 for the Stormers, doesn't mind crossing his arms looking for the bounce.
I think they're checking, maybe having a head injury assessment there, and Stravino Jacques is coming onto the field.
A chance for the first points of the second half. And to reclaim the lead for the Stormers, it's Manie Libbok. Straight and true from Manie Libbok. The crowd are happy. The assistant referees are not.
Sorry, he missed that one, Paul. It looked as though he got it, but it went. I'm afraid he just missed it. All those the two touch judges, flags down, looked very disappointed.
Goosen sends the 22-meter restart deep. Here is Damian Willemse. Into the contact. Here's Paul de Vet to Daimani. Struggled for possession all the way through that first half, not cracking the 40% mark. It's Kits off into contact. The crowd asking for the high tackle.
Advantage for the high tackle.
Libbok sends one over the top for Hartzenberg. That one's no good. We're going back for the penalty advantage.
Same standard.
No, that you play a penalty advantage, and your centres haven't called for the chip. It seems a bit negative just to knock it over the top, straight into the hands of a backline, Bulls backline player. Rather hold on to it and have a proper go. And again, the high tackles are very, very, very difficult. I mean, there's Kitsoff going low to the ground and he gets wrapped up by a backline player. I mean, I don't feel that's a dangerous tackle.
One last look at that seatbelt tackle, I presume. Dweber feeds, Ori the dummy, take off to Daimani, and de Vet almost cut them open. What a set play that was. Brilliantly defended by the Bulls in the end. Kitsoff puts man to ground and moves forward. The captain of the Stormers, de Vet, quickly clears, and the Stormers ready to rumble now. They can sense the opportunity. Dweber on the charge!
Real power play by the Stormers, and a wonderful try that. Again, they used the line out over the back, got some momentum, just powerful ball carrying by both Kitsoff and Dweber. Very, very chuffed with himself there when he might be. But yeah, you know, and just a powerful, stayed on his feet. This is where, you know, he has a big point of difference on most other hookers. Not only is he a good scrummager, you can say he doesn't throw in well, but he can carry well. And Goosen won't like to go through that tackle again, will he? He tried to rip the ball instead of going for the legs.
How I pity the fool who steps in the way of Joseph Dweber with that look in his eye.
Well, you saw the look in his eye when he was called for not straightening the line out. That was bad enough.
20 points to 13, the Stormers lead on the back of that score.
Yeah, great leg drive, but you know, sadly, a fly off, you're getting a big rampaging forward coming at you. You've just got to go in around the legs and just chop him down. You can't think that you're going to rip the ball out of his hand 4 yards from the line.
Goosen restarts the match for the Bulls. Dan du Plessis underneath that one. He's done well in the end under pressure from the Bulls. To present the ball cleanly, Ben Jason Dixon shows great hands, and now Libbok gets it away to Willemse, off to Angelo Davids, inside to Suleiman Hartzenberg. He sets this ground alight.
My word. Why are you not at Newlands, at Cape Town Stadium? That is a sensational try. Counter-attacking, timing of the pass, Daimani again, great handling by the backs. Just have a look at this again, please. Daimani takes it, good hands there, grabbed at the last moment. dummy by I think Marty Lubbock through the hands to Angelo Davis, times the pass back inside. Is it Hartzenberg, I think, going over for the try. Wow, I think that's why you asked early on, why do we get 20,000, 25,000 people here? It is because of tries like that.
That is old school Western Province rugby. Brock Harris up in the coaching box. He also gets down onto the field in the URC. He's a registered player. Must be doing his badges.
It is important for everyone watching to understand that there's no luck involved in that counter-attack. There's hard work involved in that counter-attack, in their ability to get themselves into position. There's a lock forward, number 4. Is that Dixon, I think, who takes it? I mean, just a great pass. He's a loose forward. Angelo Davis timing his pass absolutely beautifully. Sensational try. Absolutely sensational.
So is that what they call kicking for the corner and rolling the mauls?
Well, you know, I think there was a time Dobson will admit himself, John Dobson, that he was concentrating quite hard on doing what the Springboks did in 2019, dominating with a powerful scrum, going for rolling mauls, kicking for the corner. But I think he quickly worked out that with the personnel that he has, I mean, he's lucky enough to have a very, very good front row, but he's also extremely lucky to have some of the best attacking backs in South African rugby. And you know, Western Cape just do produce players who have a magnificent feel for the game, timing of the pass, great stepping ability, and unusually good pace, huge pace.
Tackle off the ball.
Kanan Moody, a player who has tremendous pace himself. He's no longer 19 years old, a 20-year-old now, and a Springbok as well.
Off the ball tackle.
So the 3 players, you know, the back 3 for the Bulls, Hendricks is a very talented rugby player. Kanan Moody, we saw how brilliant he was in his very first test match, taking the ball out of the air and scoring a brilliant try. And Curtly Orange doesn't, you know, we've spoken enough about him. It's just a question of giving them the opportunity to counter-attack, and also for the rest of the players to drop back and supply them with options. It's not 3 people who counter-attack. In that counter-attack from the Stormers, you saw 7 players, and there was an inside and outside option all the time, and that's what makes it so difficult to defend against. And they practice it, Paul. They practice it as part of a fitness training session they have.
That's what makes them the champions that they are. Joseph Dweba to feed the line out. Ben Jason Dixon takes it clean. Dweba wraps around. Willie Engelbrecht on the charge. Paul de Vet feeds Angelo Davids. De Vet away to Lubbock. Marnie Lubbock slings it to the outside. Tough one to deal with. And inside comes Zas.
They are on fire!
What an experience to be at the DHL Stadium today. Leon Zas. He made it happen. It looked like the movement was dead, but another try for the Stormers in this second half.
Paul, we were just talking about pace being an absolutely vital part. Have a look at Marnie Lubbock, running sideways, but manages to get outside the forwards. That is a 30-meter pass, which I thought had broken the move down. And this is fantastic feat by Zas. He is playing with so much confidence at the moment. You know, we spoke earlier about momentum, and when you're having momentum, you've got to take points. Well, this has been an unbelievable 10 minutes. So Stormers have got 3 tries, 2 of them some of the best tries of the season so far.
Yeah.
The energy in the stadium has been cranking up all match long, but here in the second half, the Stormers have lifted the roof off of this place. And Marnie Lubbock is very much at the heart of all of that. Setting up the try for Zas. That's taken the scoreline out to 32 points to 13 before this kick. It was 13 points apiece just 15 minutes ago. This time the crowd gets it right. Mani Lebok is back on the money.
I see they've made a change at tight head. You've got Netlin Kushi on. Well, they're off the field. Kitsy's still there.
Leolin Zas. What a player. Went away to the Sharks just briefly when he got injured.
Happy Christmas, guys.
Looked like they were just doing a job. No joy. Once again, Damian Willemse under the restart. The Storm is secure, and they now have a 21-point lead to defend. Mani Lebok quickly to the boot. Stravino Jacobs under that. Jacobs, a dangerous player in his own right. Stravino Jacobs shaking off 3 tackles. Bulls firmly on the attack. Oh, Suleiman Harsenberg.
Whoa, there's another period of momentum shift there. Poor kick by Mani Lebok off the left foot. Gave Stravino Jacobs a bit of space in front. He's got tremendous strength and leg drive. Guys going a little bit high, going for the ball instead of going around the legs. And you know, Angelo Jacobs is so good going forward, but he needs to improve on his leg tackles. And there, Hartzenberg, my dear, that was pretty much a 80-meter sprint, and I think he would have won it if he'd held on to that ball.
100% he would have won it. Absolutely lightning Suleiman Hartzenberg. Played SA under 20 in just 2022. This very year, it's been a meteoric rise for the youngster whose brother plays for Free State.
Last time the Bulls got a penalty from the scrum. Very interesting to see how this one goes. Netlin first scrum.
Spent his youth rugby with the Bulls. Netlin for sheer. Alba very much on the ground and a penalty waiting for the Bulls. The ball not even in.
Yeah, I'm afraid the referee saw Kitsy's elbow on the ground, and unfortunately that is a penalty.
Which colour? Say again.
There it goes.
Line is yours.
Curtly Ardenser has made his way back onto the field. Stravino Jacobs leaving. The Bulls have brought down the ball from the line out in the rolling wall, created a penalty advantage awaits them. Zach Berger, knowing that his team has 2 dips at this, hands off to Elrach Low. Berger, Van Staden, brought down by Dixon. Oh, that's a big hit on Ruan Vermaak. They saw him coming a mile away. Berger to Nizam Kar. Scored a try when he was briefly off the bench earlier in the match. Going back for the penalty advantage.
So penalty advantage, but this is really Bulls' bread and butter. They absolutely love the 5 meters out. Forwards coming around the corner, they'll come all day for that. Yep, tap penalty.
Oh, Zach Berger to Nizam Kar. And that sums up the Bulls' effort in this half.
Ball still 22 minutes to go. Lots can happen, I can assure you. But that is just rushing it a little bit. There's Nizam coming. Just an awkward little kick and a pass. Not accurate, was it? It was around his face as opposed to his breadbasket. So, you know, you'd expect him to catch that. But those sort of off the cuff and you know, decisions made by a scrum half and a flanker, you have to score. It's like kicking a drop goal. If you kick the drop goal, kick it over. If you miss it, everyone says what a poor decision it was.
So we're waiting to have the scrum set due to a shoelace. It is the Bulls who have won the most penalties from scrums in the URC. They're first with 23, while the Stormers have won 17 penalties from their scrums.
He's going to work his shoulder. You give me a longer bind. Okay.
And now on their own 5-meter line. They'll have to secure ball here to clear their lines. Paul de Vet to feed. He's been at Province since 2015. Penalty to the Stormers.
Oh, Kitsi got his own back. It was interesting there, they were talking about momentum shifts, that little knock on, the Bulls have been so dominant for the last 5 minutes ever since that kickoff and the Strevino-Jacobs run, ending up with a scrum, and instead, you should probably just concede the scrum and then you'll get the line out. But now, providing he kicks it out, the line out is to the Stormers, so momentum has been lost for the Bulls. Very, very tough to know. I mean, how many referees have ever been props?
I think it's a fitness issue.
Speed around the field issue.
Dweba prepares to feed. Ben Jason Dixon, tremendous option to have. Makeshift lock as he may be, especially in the number 4 jersey. Paul de Vet has that kick charged down.
Oh dear, oh dear.
I think that is the right description. Tremendous mix-up from the Stormers, leading to a knock-on. It's going to be a scrum. Bulls put in.
That number 4 is supposed to give protection to the 9, not get in his way.
Oh, he's filled in so well. Has Dixon that
Yes,
lock?
he has.
Gary Porter, Ernst van Rijn, Salman Murat and Andre Smith unavailable.
Crouch. Bind.
And that's just the locks.
Sit.
Zach Berger waits. The dominance of the Bulls wins them a penalty advantage in the end. Berger was happy to see that penalty given, but goes forward.
Second advantage, backline offside.
Carr away to Ruan for Mark, who has been tireless on the carry. Berger for Low. Berger for Steenkamp. Looking to progress through Grant right now, the Bulls, but over the top it goes in the end for Daimani.
No, knock on, no advantage. You've got an option. So we've got backline offside.
Scrum penalty.
And we've got a scrum penalty there.
And backline offside.
Backline offside. Where's that mark for the backline?
So what do you make of the second half thus far, Nick?
Well, I mean, there was that absolutely unbelievable patch of rugby by the Stormers, 3 tries, which has taken the game away from the Bulls. But as I said to you a bit earlier, 20 minutes is a long time in rugby, and this is the period of momentum that the Bulls have, the pressure that they're building, 2 penalties. The ref is going to start, not necessarily issuing a team warning, but you're not going to be able to get away with giving 3 or 4 or 5 penalties in your 22 without risking a yellow card. So this is a big period for both teams. Stormers on defense, and obviously the Bulls to try and get an attack over the line.
Grobelaar feeds the captain, Ruan Nortje, the target again. And the Bulls can't get the rolling maul going, so Berger sends it away to Forster. What a run from the inside centre. Berger sends it short. It's tremendous rugby from the Bulls. Marco van Staden over the line.
Beautiful try, that really just power, but also precision. A wonderful change of direction on that with a loose forward running a hard unders line, taking it off number 9 at an angle, reverse angle, which makes it very difficult to pick him up. And but it all depended on that first break by Forster. As soon as he got momentum, it became a far easier run for Marco van Staden.
Subs both sides, time off.
Now you'll see that the Stormers defenders had folded, and the first defender on the right-hand side of that ruck was a bit hesitant, and when A player comes, an offensive player comes on a hard unders line running at an angle, he can often beat you on that inside shoulder.
Marty Lebok sends it high. Great contest from the Stormers, and they win back possession. Daimani takes it to the Bulls. De Vet.
Wonderful contest by Lionel Zas.
Pokomela into the contact. Carr trying for the turnover. De Vet under pressure from Zach Berger. Ben Jason Dixon into the fray. Here is Lebok. Over the top for Zas. Straight into the teeth of Johan Goosen. Dancing down the touchline there, the Stormers.
Watch those two. Both advantage for knock-ons is over. Yes. Happy?
I'm not sure what everyone is upset about. There were 2 knock-ons and a knock-on advantage. If you take it through 2 or 3 phases, it's finished. So that was a blind alley that Paul de Vet went down, and I think he's just frustrated that he felt he'd passed the ball inside and perhaps Goosen got a hand to it, so it was their line-out. Perhaps that's what he was complaining about.
And some deception at line-out time from Grobelaar and the Bulls. Johan Goosen to clear the lines. It's effective, but it's safe, and the Stormers will stay on the attack. They'll be happy with that.
That's your line, yes.
Critical next 10 minutes, really. It's been a wonderful game so far, and one would expect the Stormers to hold on at 34-20, but as I said, there's plenty can happen in 15 minutes, and the Bulls, if they get those penalties and able to get territory, then their ability to set up driving mauls and forward charges are very difficult to stop. On the other hand, this was an outstanding line-out and also a good drive by the Stormers.
That is absolutely tremendous work from Grobelaar on the ground. Carr into contact and Berger over the top. Zas still getting back into position, but it's only Elrich Low who's chasing him. And the pace of Zas creates plenty of space for the clearance in the end, which comes from Damian Willemse. Goosen watched that bounce confidently. Nizam Carr on the counter. Kurtley Arendse in support. Carr carries into contact. Berger, Simpiwe Matanzima off the bench and into the action. Goosen with a dummy inside ball and then gets it away to Arendse. Almost worked out that tremendous defense from Dixon. Looked like a forward pass. Was a forward pass.
Well spotted, Paul. It was a forward pass, but there's a little bit of momentum starting with the Bulls there. Just some good little interplay. I thought Goosen's little half break there was outstanding, and ability to offload once he'd got through, but there it clearly goes forward out of the hands of Ruan. Very attritional play by the Bulls. They're so direct. When you see how they play, they work very, very hard for their tries. It takes pressure, you know, driving mauls, winning scrum penalties, then lots of forward runs off 9, and finally a good angle, and they get the try. When you saw how the Stormers managed to score their tries, it seemed balletic almost, the ability to counter-attack from so far, and was almost like touch rugby, no one really getting hurt in the whole process.
Fine! Stand up, stand up. No. Stand up. It started that side.
Now the Stormers have been a joy to watch, and they are bringing back the fans. Of course, historically, they've been known as the franchise which kept the fans coming over the last few decades.
If you love rugby, this is the sort of rugby you'd love to watch. It's a combination of forward power, forward technique in the scrums and the mauls, good control off 9, but also this sensational counter-attack and ability to see space that the Stormers seem to have over any other team in the URC here in South Africa, at least.
So we'll have another go.
It can be very frustrating, these scrums, the length of time they take. It's interesting that World Rugby is asking referees from the new year, I think, to concentrate on the 30 seconds that it takes from the time the whistle is blown to give the scrum to the time that they are set and ready to go down or ready to put the ball in. And this scrum itself must have taken at least a minute and a half already. Collapsed once, so but it's teams that use it. I'm not saying the Stormers are, but there are teams that use it in order to play down the time at the end of the game and reduce the opportunities for opposition to have enough time to score tries to get back at you.
Devet feeds.
Advantage on the knees.
A penalty advantage for the Stormers on the back of that scrum.
Advantage, backline offside.
Hartzenberg still keen to play off the Daimani.
No advantage. Backline offside. Backline offside.
So the first penalty was from a scrum knee on the ground, and the second one was backline offside.
They've been shooting themselves in the foot all game long. 2 yellow cards in the first half did not do the Bulls any favours.
That would have been called, I think, by the assistant referee. They're in charge of teams remaining 5 meters back from the scrum until the ball is out. A very good option to go for poles here. 14 points ahead. Just takes them out of the 2-try draw situation, providing those 2 tries are converted, obviously.
Waiting to make their entrance onto the field, the likes of Bismarck du Plessis, 38 years of age with 79 Springbok caps to his name, and whispering into the ears of Sebastian Lombard, 20 years of age from Boys High, preparing to make his debut in the Vodacom United Rugby Championship. And if you're 20 years old and you're going to play in one of Jake White's front rows, you've got to have something about you, that's for sure. Also waiting to come on for the Bulls, Chris Smith.
Just on that note, Kitsoff looks absolutely shattered. He's been playing rugby for about 5 years in a row. Seems at the moment, the poor guy.
The spicy plum, captain of the Stormers tonight. As the home crowd waits for their hero Mani Libok to take another shot at the posts here at the DHL Stadium in Cape Town, home of the champions. Thanks to kicks like that.
Well, we've got some fresh legs on the field now. Kitsi off for Mark on. Got Connor Evans on, and I think, Nasimla, that's right. Nasimla coming on for the last 10 minutes of the game, giving Paul Devet a rest.
Great restart from the Bulls. Wonderful effort from Willemse to reclaim that, but it comes back on the pink side of life. And now Kurtley Arendse takes it to the line. Here's Burger, slightly disrupted there. Janku Swanepoel crawling forward. Burger away to Smith, off to Mapu. Here's Hendricks under pressure.
Outstanding press defense there by the Stormers. They've gone 10 meters back from that initial ruck, and there's no penalties given away.
Struggling to break this defensive line all match long are the Bulls. A couple of cross kicks, the most successful efforts. Forster.
Oh, good break.
On the outside, breaks 2 tackles, looking for Moody. Thought he was to his left, but Moody had just cut in. Burger keeps it moving for the Bulls. It's Carr. Big hit on his arm, Carr. On the 22-meter line of the Stormers now are the Bulls. Captain Norkia. Burger. The new man, Lombard, on his debut, keeps it moving. Burger to Smith. Smith can barely hold on. Looks like it may have bounced back off Nizam Carr into his arms. Junior Pokomela makes it not matter as the Stormers have the ball back in their arms. Tiernason. Masimla. They're going to run this thing from deep. Libok. Chip over the top is for Zas. Beautifully measured. Bismarck du Plessis is marking him on the wing.
No, stay on.
Hendricks surely offside, didn't get involved.
Stay here.
Well, it's all happening here at the DHL Stadium tonight. Connor Evans backs himself into the contact. Another one of the young forwards for the Stormers side that's had to step in this injury crisis, especially so at lock. Similar, that one's come sliding off the boot. Dan du Plessis underneath, as is Van Staden, a knock-on from the Bulls, and it's just not bouncing their way today. A tap and go. It's rough stuff for the Bulls fan. Pokomela tries to keep it moving, but it's the Stormers who have the ball now.
There's a comedy of errors in those last 30 seconds. Dreadful kick by Masimla, knock on, all the players were offside. Quick tap, knock on by the Bulls, then pass straight into touch by the Stormers. So we've been waxing lyrical about how good the game has been. Now that it's getting late in the day and tired legs, you've got a combination of tired players and then fresh players coming on. Those fresh ones are trying to up the ante, and the tired ones are just saying, let's keep the game going at the same pace that it has been. We're very happy, but lots of mistakes there, weren't there?
Cornel Hendricks, pure class in the 14 jersey for the Bulls, comes from the field. It's great to see him back in the green and gold in the form of SAA during the November tours this season, giving the youngsters some of that experience he's collected along the way. Dan du Plessis, the son and the nephew of Springboks. Bismarck du Plessis, legendary Springbok hooker.
Move over. Blue, open up.
And perhaps appropriately for the festive season, he was once a young boy born in Bethlehem. Bismarck du Plessis.
Great steal there, vital.
Similar sent it away. Willemse with a wonderful skip pass to the outside.
That was forward.
I'm calling it flat, Nick, in the spirit of the season.
Yeah, I'm afraid if you're a Bull supporter, you'd call it 5 meters forward. I think we have to be fair. I just felt that should have gone through the hands. You know, sometimes it's space that you see, but it's false space out wide, because the last defender is shifting, so he can move on the pass and get to where the ball lands. As you see, Stravino Jacobs is moving across, and the fullback should be coming up, taking the last man. So although it looks as though there's space there, the space is created if you take it through the hands and force a defender to stop on you and not shift.
Coach! Fine! Sit!
Zach Berger waits at the back of a steady scrum. The Stormers perhaps even making some progress. Chris Smith sent it away to Mapu again, surprised by the rapidness of that defensive line. Hartzenberg putting pressure.
Brilliant defense.
Berger. Ulrich Lowe showing patience, allowing the ball to bounce up off his knees and retaining possession for his team as a result. Stravino Jacobs, he can be so impactful. Lowe, who has been marshalled, the man they call the sheriff. Berger with painfully slow ball for the Bulls. Smith hangs one high. Not a lot of depth on that kick. 2 Bulls underneath, and they win back possession. Harold Forster. He has been going forward all evening long in spite of the difficulties that the Bulls attack has encountered. Here is Lowe.
Tackle, release!
Janku Swanepoel
Second advantage, tackler
diving into the pool.
Tackler, no attempt.
No attempt to roll from Marvin Ori.
There's not a lot of time left. They need to play as quickly as possible, the Bulls, if they're hoping to try and get something out of this game. Maybe a losing bonus point. 3 minutes to go. Great kick by Chris Smith. Very, very good kick. Here's an opportunity from the line-out. You're likely to see a driving maul and followed by forwards round the corner.
Kick to the corner and roll the mauls.
What the Stormers were accused of doing.
Now the Bulls approach a massive opportunity. A Cape Town boy, Chris Smith, kicked them into this corner. 18 tackles from BJ Dixon, 14 of those in the first half, by the way. Ridiculous numbers. Nokia takes it with only one supporter. It didn't look perfectly planned by the Bulls. And they haven't got much go forward off the rolling wall initially. Splintering from the side. Looking for options, Bismarck du Plessis almost got hunted on the ground. Matanzima powering forward. That's just what the Bulls needed. Berger away. Marco van Staden almost corkscrewing to the line. Less than 2 minutes to play. It's now or never for the Bulls. Bismarck du Plessis dots down, and the losing bonus point is still a possibility.
Pretty much what we predicted, a driving maul followed by both big forwards around the corner, and you know, just the strength of Bismarck du Plessis getting through the tackle there. I think of Pocamela, was it? It was you know, the error was around the penalty that the Stormers gave away on the 10-meter line, allowing Chris Smith to kick that into the corner. That's where you have to really be so disciplined in making sure that in the final 5 minutes of a game you do your absolute utmost to remain squeaky clean in terms of defensive errors. I thought the Stormers were doing a good job keeping the Bulls between the 10-meter line, but the Bulls got the penalty. Magnificent kick by Chris Smith, and a very good bit of set-piece play by the Bulls. Obviously the Stormers are not racing back to the halfway line to kick it off.
Not at all, with the victory in the bag. Having only 30 seconds left to play in this 10-point lead. Up it goes from Clayton Blomachies. Hartzenberg after this. Ulrich Low underneath.
No more.
That's well secured by the two-cap Springbok. Goosen off to Mapu under tremendous pressure here. Dragged down in the tackle of Marcel Tienersen.
Step. Use.
And the Cape Town crowd responds positively to the sound of the hooter. Just look at the aggression in defense all the way beyond the 80-minute mark. Chris Smith off to Matanzima. This looked like one of the most dangerous players in pink. The front ranker off the bench, breaking that defensive line that almost every other Bull has struggled with today. Berger, Kurtley Ardenser to Forster, off to Kanan Moody. It might have been his first touch of the match. And it's just before the final whistle blows. To the great joy of the Cape Town crowd, whose flags are waving high this festive season. 2 days before Christmas, the Stormers bring joy at DHL Stadium. It was a second half blitz that put them into the lead that the Bulls could never draw back. 13 points apiece at halftime, and that guy played a big part in it. Nick, what did you make of the day?
Oh, just a wonderful game of rugby. Really, truly, you know, two different sides. Obviously, the Stormers utilizing their speedy backs and their ability to counter-attack at any given moment. Those 3 tries were sensational in the second half and probably made my day in terms of, not because the Stormers scored them, but just as a rugby follower, it's just magnificent to see tries like that and seeing the ball go through the hands. So you also saw some tremendous play by the Bulls in terms of their technique. 3 scrum penalties and really good line-out drives. Wonderful game of rugby.
Now, in the end of the day, it is the DHL Stormers that win by 37 points to 27 over the Vodacom Bulls, and we have some interviews down on the touchlines.
Your URC man of the match, Vodacom man of the match, nobody else but the captain, Stephen Kissel. Stephen, well done, well played. Stephen, it was going to always be a tough one, a bit of a grudge return match after you guys played each other for this very competition in the final last year. Must have been a sweet victory tonight.
No, Cobus, to be honest, it's a big relief. I think the build-up, there's been a lot of talk about this game in the media and the build-up to this weekend. So I must say I'm relieved, but I'm so proud of the boys, the way they pitched up towards Christmas and actually put up such an amazing performance and such a good win to get that bonus point.
It was head-to-head at halftime, not much to choose between these two sides, as expected. What happened in the change room? Because you guys came out firing in all cylinders in the second.
Yeah, I think Dobbo had some stern words at halftime, but no, we knew with our conditioning and the way we wanted to play, the floodgates will open sooner than later. So we said just sticking to the plan and stick to the way we play. The opportunities will come, and I'm so happy the boys capitalized on those moments.
Great win for you guys. Congratulations. Yeah, you must be looking forward to next week.
Yeah, Lions at home, so really looking forward to that. I think it's going to be another big one, another tough game at DHL Stadium.